Hello everyone, thank you for joining us on MNB World News Mongolia, where we bring you the latest stories and updates from across the nation and beyond. I'm Batsir Namshir. Our top stories for News Mongolia. Foreign ministers of Mongolia and Canada hold official talks. The 2024 state budget includes 1.2 billion MNT for LED lights at school crossings. Half of Mongolia is preparing for the challenges of severe winter weather. For the news, stay tuned. During an official visit to Canada from November 20th to 22nd, 2023, by invitation of the Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly, the Mongolian Foreign Minister Batsitsig Batmuch engaged in official discussions with Minister Joly on November 22nd. At the outset of the meeting, both ministers expressed contentment with the progression of Mongolia-Canada relations over the past 50 years, evolving into an expanded partnership grounded in mutual commitment to advancing democracy, the rule of law, and human rights.
Foreign Minister Batsitsig underscored the significance of her official visit, occurring during the 58th anniversary of diplomatic ties, emphasizing Canada's pivotal role in Mongolia's peace-oriented, independent, and multifaceted foreign policy, acknowledging the broadening political and security dialogue, a substantial increase in Canadian investment in Mongolia, and successful collaboration in areas such as sustainable resource management, civil service reform, good governance, and women's empowerment. Both sides praised the positive trajectory of their relationship. During the discussions, the ministers reached an agreement to elevate bilateral relations to a comprehensive partnership, aiming to foster prosperity in Mongolia and Canada and promote regional peace and stability. Minister Joly highlighted Mongolia as a democratic partner in the Indo-Pacific region, emphasizing shared perspectives, and commended Foreign Minister Batsitsig's efforts in advancing women's leadership and feminist foreign policy. The ministers deliberated on upcoming visits and activities for the following year, pledging to enhance trade and investment ties with a focus on the green economy, mining, environment, desertification, agriculture, agri-food, e-transition, and education, including the training of English teachers. Minister Batsitsig proposed concrete measures to ease travel conditions and enhance aviation's relations. Additionally, both parties exchanged views on current regional and international affairs, culminating in a joint declaration outlining the outcomes of the official talks.
To enhance road safety near schools, the 2024 state budget includes a substantial budget of 1.2 billion MNT for the installation of LED lights at school pedestrian crossings. This strategic initiative is designed to provide well-lit and secure environments for students and pedestrians, mitigating potential risks associated with road crossings.
The decision to allocate these funds in the 2024 state budget reflects an approach to addressing the public's safety concerns about school zones. It's ideal for illuminating pedestrian crossings, especially in the early morning and late afternoon when visibility tends to be lower.
It was difficult to cross the road because vehicles wouldn't stop. I would wait until there were no cars on the road. The lighting makes it easier because cars stop to let people cross.
We received requests from citizens and we researched installing LED lights in 102 locations. If possible, we'll try to increase the number of locations. The installation of LED lights near school crossings has several benefits for communities, such as enhanced visibility, accident prevention, and safety. Local authorities collaborated with community stakeholders to identify 102 high-traffic areas near schools where the installation of LED lighting would have the most significant impact.
Mongolia finds itself on high alert as meteorological forecasts indicate a significant risk of severe winter cold, known locally as dzot, affected 50% of the country. This forecast has prompted authorities and communities to take proactive measures to mitigate the impact on residents and livestock.
Dzot is characterized by harsh winter conditions, including heavy snowfall and extremely cold temperatures, which pose a serious threat to Mongolia's pastoral way of life. Officials are warning the public that people choosing to travel to the countryside despite the looming threat of severe winter conditions are putting their health and safety at risk.
We have cases of parents with babies traveling to the countryside, despite warnings, and putting the safety of their children at risk when their vehicle gets stuck. Sadly, this is a very common scenario.
The affected regions cover vast expanses in the countryside, raising concerns about the well-being of livestock that are crucial to the livelihoods of many Mongolian families. Local authorities are working with state agencies to implement emergency preparedness plans, including providing additional livestock fodder and shelter to vulnerable areas.
Herders should consider the temperature change and possible risks related to climate and weather conditions. There should be mitigation plans, such as putting livestock into economic turnover.
Efforts are underway to disseminate information and guidelines to herding communities, advising them on best practices for protecting the livestock and preparing for the challenging winter ahead.
Herders need to be informed on how to protect themselves from possible risks. I think private businesses and state organizations should promote Dzot resilience awareness among the herder population.
Contingency plans are also being developed to address potential disruptions to transportation and infrastructure caused by heavy snowfall and extreme cold.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. The leaders of Britain and South Korea will seek to strengthen trade and defense ties between their countries during a state visit to the UK by President Yoon Suk-yeol. Yoon and South Korean First Lady Kim Kyung-hee received a ceremonial welcome with military honor guards by King Charles III, Queen Camilla, the Prince and Princess of Wales, and Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, among others, in London before heading to Buckingham Palace.
Yoon landed at Stansted Airport near London on Monday. Britain hopes his formal three-day visit will help cement an Indo-Pacific tilt in its foreign and trade policy. Later on Tuesday, Yoon was set to address Parliament and take part in a state banquet hosted by King Charles III at Buckingham Palace. He is also scheduled to hold talks with Sunak focused on trade, technology, and defense. The two countries will officially launch talks on an upgraded free trade agreement to replace their current deal, which largely replicates the arrangement the UK and before it left the European Union. Britain has launched trade talks with several countries since leaving the European Union in 2020, though it has finalized deals only with Australia and New Zealand. The UK also has joined the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP, an Asia-Pacific trade bloc that includes Japan and 10 other nations. Sunak and Yoon are expected to sign an agreement covering cooperation in defense and technology, including artificial intelligence. Britain hosted the first International AI Safety Summit this month, and South Korea intends to hold a follow-up event next year. Britain also plans to invest in South Korean semiconductor manufacturing as part of international efforts to diversify the supply of the key computer components. Many of the advanced chips are produced in Taiwan, and the coronavirus pandemic and an increasingly assertive China have heightened concerns about future supply. The two leaders are also set to boost defense cooperation, including joint naval patrols to enforce UN sanctions on North Korea.
Recent outbreaks of violence in Kosovo are unacceptable, and perpetrators must be brought to justice, NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said on Tuesday. Stoltenberg visited Bosnia and Kosovo on Monday. His trip reflects Western concerns over the stability of the volatile Balkan region that went through a series of wars in the 1990s.
Violent incidents in May and September in Kosovo have further fueled fears of renewed clashes as the war rages in Ukraine. Western allies fear Russia could try to spur Balkan trouble to avert attention from its aggression. The two incidents in Kosovo prompted NATO to beef up its peacekeeping presence. Stoltenberg said in Kosovo on Monday that NATO will consider deploying additional peacekeeping troops. Stoltenberg also urged Serbia and Kosovo to engage constructively in European Union-mediated dialogue that is aimed at normalizing relations between the former war foes.
I welcome the EU's latest proposals for the establishment of the accession of the association of Serb majority municipalities in Kosovo. This would be a key step toward normalization of the relationships. I call on Belgrade and Pristina to engage constructively in the EU-facilitated dialogue. This is the only path to a lasting peace and stability. Any violation of the rule of law and killings of civilians is absolutely unacceptable. And as always, those responsible must be held accountable, regardless of who is the perpetrator or who is responsible. Because this is about upholding some core principles about the rule of law.
Alexander Vučić, a pro-Russian politician, said there will be no association of Serbs municipalities and accused Kosovo Prime Minister Alban Kurti of standing in the way. Serbia does not recognize Kosovo's 2008 declaration of independence. Stoltenberg also called for increased cooperation with Serbia and resumption of joint military training exercises. He said NATO respects Serbia's decision to remain militarily neutral. Belgrade has maintained friendly relations with Russia and refused to join Western sanctions against Moscow, which has backed Serbia's bid to retain its claim over Kosovo. Relations between Serbia and its former province Kosovo have remained tense since the 1998-1999 war that left over 10,000 people killed. The conflict ended after NATO bombed Serbia in 1999 to end its crackdown against ethnic Albanian separatists.
Now let's take a look at global current affairs.
Russian strikes on residential areas in Kherson on Monday and Tuesday killed 2 people and injured 1, the regional government said. 2 people died in Monday's attack. The victims were local drivers, regional authorities said. Video shared by the regional military administration showed burned-down cars in a parking lot. Tuesday's strike injured 1 person. Kherson has been the subject of almost daily strikes since the liberation from Russian occupation 1 year ago.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you on Thursday with more news and updates. Goodbye.